Hello, hello, and I'm here doing my 2021 in review video redo version. So I recorded a video on New Year's Eve 2021. Hello and happy New Year's Eve, and was going through the questions that you guys posed to me over on Instagram, and also just kind of doing a year in review, kind of recap, things that I accomplished in the year, things that I got to do and experience, all that good stuff. And I don't know, there was just a vibe to it that I just wasn't feeling. It didn't feel as authentic as I wanted it to. And I felt like some of the answers to the questions that I was giving were just kind of meh. So I decided to scrap that video and re-record it. So here we are. It is currently January 5th, so not quite a week into the new year quite yet, but we're getting close. Yeah, I will start off with a quick recap of 2021 and what some of my goals were last year. Last year, one of the couple of things that I was working towards was mainly kind of prepping for this year and my hopes to go out and do a thru hike this year. One of those was getting a job and saving some money. So I totally nailed that, got a job at the end of January of last year. I've been here at my job for almost a year now. And I hit my target savings, so that felt really good, and I'm feeling pretty good going into the new year, and that I will have the funds that I need to do a thru hike if that's what ends up happening this year. One of the other things was to be in the best shape that I've been in, and last year I was focusing a lot on dialing in my diet and working on my fitness and exercise, and I feel really good about what I accomplished last year. I also had targeted to backpack or camp more last year than I had the year prior. This all still kind of goes to that whole thru hiking goal for this year, that I wanted to get out more, use some of that gear that I had purchased for thru hiking and backpacking. And while I had initially built myself a more specific goal of at least 4 backpacking trips a year, or to complete one of the smaller thru hikes that are kind of in this area, I did not quite accomplish those, which was a little bit of a bummer. But overall, I did get out and backpack more last year than I did the year prior. And for that, I can be really happy. All the gear worked out really well when I did these trips, and so I think that it accomplished what I was hoping to accomplish. I was able to get out and backpack 3 different times, and then I also used some of the gear on a motorcycle camping trip where I had camped 4 out of the 7, 8 nights that we were out on the trail or out on the trip. So that felt pretty good. I also used my tent to camp once during my road trip that I did back in March. I had intended on camping more on that trip as well, but just didn't end up working out. So it is what it is, but I feel really good about what I was able to do last year. One of the other goals that I had was to reduce my waste. Caring about our planet and what's happening to it and what it's going to be like in a couple of years is really important. And so I am working on ways that I can do improvements for myself or support companies that are looking to make improvements in that space as well. I feel pretty good about some of the ways that I reduced waste last year. Specifically, I worked on making my own yogurt. I guess this is a big one, so that I wouldn't have to buy plastic yogurt containers. So I would buy milk in a glass jar, use that to make yogurt. Some other things that are probably a little bit more like feminine hygiene type stuff that you probably wouldn't want to know about, but I'm trying to think of some other ways that I can continue reducing waste again this year, so that is going to be a goal for 2022. Speaking of 2022 goals, I actually finally put pen to paper for my 2022 goals yesterday. And there's about twice as many of them as there was last year. Apparently, I'm being a little bit of an overachiever. I can't help myself. My goals are somewhat similar to last year's goals in the sense that one of them is I would like to work out 50% or more of the days out of the year. So that's targeting to work out at least 4 days a week and continuing to reduce waste, as I mentioned previously. I would like to simplify my possessions. My hope is that through the active thru hiking that I get to experience what it's like to live with only what you have on your back, and that's like truly all that is needed to get by. And so I'd like to take a serious look at the things that I have in my space and try to part with some stuff that is just kind of weighing me down a little bit. I would also like to prevent the accumulation of new things and am trying really hard to cut down on my shopping and spending, specifically buying stuff like online, because it's very easy to do that nowadays, and that also causes a lot of waste as well. So hopefully kind of a 2-for-1 there. Hopefully we'll save some money by cutting down some of my things and maybe add to my savings account by selling some stuff that I don't need. Some of the more simple goals that aren't quite as complicated are going to be doing yoga once a week, taking a self-portrait every day. And this is different than a selfie because my hope is that I can use my little remote that I use to take photos that are, a little bit more artistic, not like holding phone up, taking picture of self. Although that was my first picture of the year, so what can you do? I was being lazy that day. And then I also want to take progress photos once a week for just my fitness and my body composition goals. So one of the last goals that I have on my list, I'm going to keep to myself for now, but if I do end up accomplishing it, I will share. It is one that I have been looking forward to doing for the past 6 months or so now. So I'll let you guys know once I'm able to accomplish that, and I will share that later. Or if you want to send me a message, I will share it with you in private. So those are my goals for the upcoming year. I would love to hear from you guys on what your goals were last year, if you were able to accomplish goals last year, and if you have any new goals for the new year, and what you're kind of excited about. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you're looking forward to in 2022. So now to the Q&A portion of the video. I want to say thanks again to everybody who submitted a question to me on Instagram. And let's get this started. The first question, how dare you? I dare in a way that causes me to push myself past my boundaries and experience new and interesting things. So that's how I dare. Next question, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. I am anxious for some of the things that I have planned for the new year. I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of change in my life and that I will feel a little bit less isolated in my space as I did last year. I definitely am starting to feel the effects of being away from people. I'm definitely a very social person, and I know that in my recap last year, I had talked about how while I enjoy being around people, that I was okay not being around people for a while we were kind of stuck in lockdown for 2020, but I'm definitely starting to feel the effects of that now. I am very thankful that I was able to get out for the month earlier in 2021 and go and visit my family and make a bunch of stops, see a bunch of people. That really helped, I think, for my mental health. And I would like to continue doing that this year so that I can just have like those personal interactions, have that community that I've been craving. So overall though, I'm feeling pretty happy, feeling pretty optimistic, feel healthy, and just looking forward to the new year. Next question was, what was the lowest temperature that it got to where I live at last year? So just a couple of weeks ago, actually, we had our lowest temperature here in Bellingham, Washington. We're pretty close to the Canadian border, not too far from Vancouver, BC. And we've been getting a lot of snow recently. It's kind of crazy. And the lowest temperature that it got to when we experienced one of our storms not too long back was 8 degrees. And I'm from California, so 8 degrees is pretty chilly. And yeah, just been trying to stay warm. The snow's been fun. We had a white Christmas, so that was really cool. And we've been trying to get up and go skiing, which is something that is new for me. So I've been enjoying it, but I'm also looking forward to it warming up. I'm not gonna get my wish though, because it's supposed to snow again tonight. So I'll have to wait a little while, but once it does warm up, I will be very grateful. Next question is, did I know that Trish Hershberger has a Naked Truth podcast? So for those of you who have been watching my channel more recently, I had started this channel like way back in 2013, I think. Typically, I get onto YouTube when I don't have a job and I'm trying to find something to keep myself occupied. And so quite a few years back now, I used to do a series on my channel called The Naked Truth. It was in response to videos that Trish Hershberger did on her channel called The Naked Truth. She would just pick a topic for the week and you discuss it in the nude, no makeup, no hair done. It was meant to be kind of like a way to get a message across without putting a filter on it by like physical appearances, if that makes sense. Obviously you couldn't see anything, it's just like from the chest up, but yeah, I ended up stopping doing that after a while, just kind of moved on to doing other kind of content. Well, I actually ended up getting a job, didn't make content for a while, and then when I picked back up on content at the beginning of 2020, I decided to go kind of that more hiking focused route and was trying something different. So I did enjoy the Naked Truth series when I was doing it, and so I would be really curious to see how the podcast is going, and I will have to check it out. Next question is, favorite sandwich? So I actually recorded a video of myself eating my favorite sandwich. When this question came through, I think it was like the next day, I actually went and got one of my favorite sandwiches, and there's a cafe that is not too far from here called Avenue Bread. And they have a couple different locations here in Bellingham, but they make just really solid sandwiches. They've got great bread, get this like rosemary sourdough bread, and it's just like a really basic ham and Swiss with lettuce, tomato, onion, mayo, and mustard. Super simple, but it's just solid and delicious. So that would be my favorite sandwich. Next question is car of the year. So I wasn't exactly sure how to interpret this question. I actually just recently sold my car, so I don't have a car, but if it was going to be my car of the year, I would have to give it up to Guano, my Subaru Impreza that I bought last year. And that's just because he took me on my road trip and he took me to see all of my family. He got me to where I needed to go and got me back home safe. So kudos to Guano. He's a pretty solid car, but I am happy that he is with his new owner now. So good luck out there, Guano. You were a good car. But if I were to interpret this question in another way and say vehicle of the year, I'd have to give it up to Craig, my WR250R, which took me on one of my biggest trips of the year, which was the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route via dirt bike. I love this motorcycle. It's my first motorcycle, my first love, and I don't think I will ever get rid of him, honestly. He's just great. If we're going really general and just say like car of the year, just cars that are out there. I'm not a huge car person, but I heard that Toyota came out with a new, oh no. There it goes. Oh man, okay. Apparently I have been remiss in my charging duties on my gimbal, because it decided to just take a poop on me. All right, let's see if we can get this readjusted here. Looking good. Yeah, so where were we? Car of the year. Yeah, I think I was, I don't know, I'm kind of like a cheap Japanese sports car type person. So I think I saw a version of the Toyota Supra. Yeah, I mean, it looks, I don't know. Some of the fenders on that is kind of funky. There was another Toyota, like, sports car though. I think it's called the Toyota, actually, yeah. So it's the Toyota 86. I thought it was kind of cool because it's the same year that I was born. Yeah, and I kind of just like the styling of it, but I don't know if they actually are actively selling any of those. You know, if we were going really crazy though, maybe I would just end up going electric and signing up to get one of those new Tesla trucks, because those look crazy. All right, so the next question, greatest trip of 2021. So I had quite a few really awesome trips in 2021, so this one was kind of hard to answer. I would say that I have a top 3, and it would be based based off of different reasons. So my road trip that I took over the month to Colorado, Texas, California, we'll put it number 3. So I'll give myself a top 3 and put that one at number 3. And that one was because I got to see a bunch of my family, and I hadn't seen a lot of them in a long time. It was nice to get out, get a change of scenery, and work from someplace other than my desk that I sit at all day long here in my house. So that was awesome. Just allowed me a little bit of freedom and to get out and see parts of the country that I've never been to before, like Texas. And I mean, overall, just mainly getting to see my family and getting to have that people interaction. Number 2, I would give it to the Timberline Trail. So that was one of the last backpacking trips that I did of the year. And the Timberline Trail was one that I was looking to complete the full trail. It's about 40 miles around the base of Mount Hood. And we got in about 10 miles on the first day and realized that we hadn't given ourselves enough time, enough days to complete the loop around. I think we were hoping to do more mileage in that first day. And so for that, it was a little bit disappointing that I wasn't able to complete the trail, but the experience that I had on the trail for the 2 days that we were out there was awesome. It was so unique, like getting to do a river crossing and getting to hike around the base of the mountain, which was just beautiful. And then getting to meet some people on trail that are kind of like having the same experience that you are, and having those interactions was really fun. So that one I'd have to put at number 2. Then number 1, best trip of the year, definitely have to be, for me, the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route. So as I mentioned previously, I got to ride my WR250 Yamaha dirt bike, Craig, from the border of Canada and Washington to the border of Washington and Oregon. It was about 500 miles off-road. It was just really incredible. I was able to test my motorcycling skills. I was able to get out and camp. We met really cool people on trail. There was always somebody who would come by and talk to us at the end of the night, like wherever we were staying, and asking us like what we were doing, and you know, surprised that they're seeing a girl on a dirt bike, which was kind of fun, and just overall really cool, kind people. So, and that particular trip was able to be completed. So unlike the Timberline Trail where we didn't quite get to finish it, the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route, we set out to do a specific route and we were able to finish it mostly. There's a little section that we couldn't get through because it was snowed in, but overall we were able to complete the leg from one border to the next. So we got to spend a couple of days in the town of Stevenson, Washington, which is on the Columbia River. And I just find that any time that I've spent in the Columbia River Gorge is time well spent. I really like that area, and if you haven't been, you should definitely check it out because it's just so unique and gorgeous and just a great time. So definitely check it out if you have the opportunity to. Next question is centered around my video editing style. I tried various different types of video editing and types of like video styling over the past year, which was a ton of fun. We ranged anywhere from just kind of like a daily quick vlog style video from my road trip videos to a full-blown like short film that included music that I collaborated with another person and actually submitted to a film festival. I recently completed a video from our Orcas Island trip where it's just strictly set to music. So lots of different styling there. Ultimately, I enjoyed all of the different video types. It was really fun to get to try different creative styles for those videos. I think moving forward, if I do decide to do more videos in the new year, I haven't quite decided if I have like the capacity to continue doing YouTube or not. We'll see. I think that I would like to utilize music more in my videos. I would like to continue doing like narration. While the Orcas Island video was really fun and doing it just to music, I think that there's a component that's lost there when you don't have somebody kind of telling the story and telling a little bit about what's going on. And I do enjoy that aspect of my videos, just kind of like telling the story. Yeah, I think that I will probably do, I don't know, I'll probably do less of like the vlog style videos like I did for my road trip and do more videos like kind of going back a little bit to like the hike review style videos where there's a lot of scenic shots but with some narration over them and then trying to incorporate some music into the videos as well, more music. The next question, how did I grow or change this year? So this was one of the questions that when I had answered on the previous video that I recorded on New Year's Eve that I felt like I was kind of cheating myself of like something a little bit more deep. My original answer was just surrounding like my fitness journey that I had last year. And while I truly do believe that that is probably one of the ways that I grew the most last year was just being like really diligent about dialing in my diet, being consistent about working out, and really accomplishing some pretty substantial goals like gaining a lot of muscle and feeling stronger and more capable in just like everyday activities like hiking, things that I really enjoy doing. I think that when I think about like actually growing and changing, I think I changed in a way that may be detrimental to my future goals. I find that because I don't have the opportunity to interact with people as much in my day-to-day life, that I find myself kind of becoming a little bit more introverted when there's opportunity to engage with people in real life. So I don't necessarily know that that's a good way to change. It's not necessarily growing, but my hope is that I will make an effort this year to interact with people when possible and try to just make more of an effort to do that this year. But last year, I definitely felt like the way that I changed and grew the most was just feeling comfortable and confident in my body and just feeling strong and capable. All right, guys, we're to the last question. And this question is, what is my most cherished memory of 2021? Oh gosh, I had so many good memories last year. Honestly, like, wow, I think a lot of people have been griping over the past year about how bad 2020 was and how bad 2021 was. And while there were definitely some aspects of the year that were not ideal or did not quite go the way that I was expecting them to, I had a really good year. And so picking one cherished memory is really hard. I mean, I think seeing my ex's family in Reading for the first time in like 5 or 6 years was a pretty good memory. It just felt kind of like natural, just going back to something that was comfortable. Just, yeah, getting to see everyone again, spend some time with them. That was a really good memory. I think about being able to spend Thanksgiving with my family. Everybody, with the exception of my sisters, which I had seen earlier in the year, so that was good at the very least, but I get to spend Thanksgiving with my parents and my grandparents and my aunt and uncle and my cousins. I got to go and see my grandpa. Yeah, so time spent with people, I think, is just where my cherished memories come from this year. And that also would go into some of the adventures that I had, specifically with Keith this year. Us kind of struggling through the Timberline hike trail together, us navigating new terrain on the Washington backcountry discovery route together. Those also were some of my most cherished memories from this year. Yeah, so those were all of the questions for this kind of 2021 in review video. If you have any additional questions that you want to have answered that didn't get answered in this video, feel free to leave a comment down below or shoot me a message, and I'd be happy to reach back out. But all in all, I think that's just where I'm going to end this video, and I hope that you all have an amazing 2022. I feel good about this year, and I think good things are coming. So stay tuned. I will still have some videos to post here, even if I don't record new content. I do still want to put out my Timberline Trail video, so I will be working on that over the next couple of months, and we'll have something published hopefully soon. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I'll see you guys later. Bye.